Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Loewe had their first hit together in 1947 with Brigadoon, a romantic fantasy set in the Highlands of Scotland. Its music has a strong Scottish flavor. Next was the less successful Paint Your Wagon, set in the California mountains during the gold rush of 1849. Traditional American folk music flavors this one. Then came the biggest success for the pair, My Fair Lady, followed by the movie musical Gigi, a multiple Oscar winner, and the Broadway musical Camelot, another enduring success. Perhaps because a couple of the songs from Paint Your Wagon were hits on the popular music charts, and perhaps because Loewe had done a little gold mining as a young man when he immigrated to the U.S. from Germany, Paint Your Wagon was not allowed to rest. It became a movie with Clint Eastwood and Lee Marvin. Both did their own singing. Playwright Paddy Chayefsky pretty thoroughly rewrote the book, still set in a mining camp with some of the same characters, though significantly changed. Playwright David Rambo revised the libretto again for a production in Los Angeles in 2004. Now playwright Jon Marans, best known for the Holocaust play Old Wicked Songs, has revised it again for the Muny. If you've seen any of those earlier versions, you'll recognize the music of the Muny, at least a few of the names of the characters, and a few incidents. With its world premiere on the Forest Park stage, Playwright Marans opens his version with a stage full of covered wagons in the gateway to the west, and people singing, "I'm on my way." Among them are young newlyweds parting as he goes to make his fortune, an abusive husband and his long-suffering wife, a South Carolinian and his slave, a pair of Chinese brothers, a free and educated black man, all headed for the gold fields. That's where we find Ben Rumson, another Southerner, who, when his wife died and his business failed, put his daughter in boarding school and headed west. When we meet him in the high woods, he seems as much a mountain man as a panner for gold. He links up with a young Mexican, Armando, lost in the woods, and together they go down the mountain to No Name City, where the 49ers have gathered to find treasure in its streams and fields. Rumson calms troubles that arise in the camp, some because of the ethnic mix there, some just because of the greed that gold lust feeds. He winds up buying the abused wife from her husband in a curious Goldfields auction tradition. He marries her, and together with Armando, they strike it rich in a fittingly ironic way. With the wealth, Rumson develops No Name City and gives it his name. He builds a tavern, dance hall, and casino, and brings in a troupe of dancing girls. He reconciles with his daughter, upset when she returns from school to find him married. She finds consolation with Armando, though Rumson, who has defended the Chinese and the blacks, resists seeing his daughter married to a Mexican. Playwright Marans has added much of the treatment of the minorities to Lerner's original, and I think contemporary audiences will find his version more satisfying and attractive. A big man with a big voice in the best tradition of the musical theater leading man, Matt Bogart plays Ben Rumson. Mamie Parris gives a survivor's strength to Cayla Woodling, the abused wife, who becomes Ben's wife and perfect partner. Omar Lopez-Cepero charms as the sweetly macho Armando, and Maya Keleher brings emotional depth to both her estrangement from her father and her attraction to Armando as Jennifer Rumson. Preston Truman Boyd is the bullying South Carolinian, and Alan K. Washington, his slave, who's freed by Rodney Hicks' free black man. Austin Koo is the older, and Raymond J. Lee is the younger of the Chinese brothers, an order they are careful to preserve. Bobby Conte Thornton plays the trouble-beset young husband who has left behind his wife, played by Sally Glaze. Michael James Reed spews the worst of abuse on his wife. Director and choreographer Josh Rhodes pulled these fine performances together. He gave the miners powerful angular choreography and included everyone in the dance hall dances. Michael Schweikart's sets combined with Caite Hevner's video designs to carry us to California, though the video had an unusual rough quality, perhaps reaching for an impressionist effect. John Lasseter's lighting included some evocative nighttime effects. Amy Clark designed the frontier clothes, and John Shivers and David Patridge the sound. Music director Sinai Tabak The cast and the Muny Orchestra revealed how good Loewe's score is. Paint Your Wagon is still a little loose-jointed in places, but tight enough overall to be quite enjoyable.
Well, I like the first act a lot. I think the second act needs more work, but I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, I do hope it continues. I think there's something very good there, especially the music. Let's hear some.